made up for it. If you have not yet signed in, please do so after the GBM. And we also have a little calendar, which has all our events weeks 1 through 5. If you have not gotten those yet, I'm all smiling because I've been pushing it for so long. But if you have not yet gotten those, please do grab one of them. It'll be very convenient, because I know not all of us use Facebook. I don't use it that much. So I mean, it's just a lot easier than Facebook. All right, so, you good? You want to start?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to Ubic's first Fall Gbm. We are the undergraduate bioinformatics club, right? And I'm sure many of you are bioinformatics majors or just people who are interested in bioinformatics, right? So I think before we begin, I think it's important to first introduce myself. I forgot about the slide, but here it is. Hi, my name is Arya Kull. I am the president. I'm a junior and we're in college, and I'm majoring in bioengineering and bioinformatics. So that's my role, right? I oversee the operations, logistics, and overall strategy for the organization moving forward, right? What future plans we have, how we're going to implement events, stuff like that. And you can talk to me about how I and Ubic as a whole can help you succeed as a bioinformatician or somebody's interest in learning some of the skills necessary to become a successful bioinformatician, right? So what is Ubic, right? That's the obvious question which you all should be asking yourself. I mean, you're at our GBM, which is very sweet, so you have an idea, right? But here's how I define it, right? A community of undergraduate bioinformaticians at the University of California, San Diego. And I know it sounds very, like blah, like that's a sentence, which means, something. But I think it's important, why is this special? Well, let's break it down, right? First, bioinformaticians, right? Let's first say that word. What is bioinformatics? For those of you who don't know, it's basically the application of computer science and data analytical skills to analyze biological big data, right? Yeah, there you go. I got you. So we do everything from genomics to proteomics to personalized medicine, anything and everything which involves big data, and biological big data specifically. Bioinformaticians are there to solve the underlying questions and issues surrounding that, right? And as high throughput technologies get more and more cheaper, right? So I mean, if you all have seen the graph of it superimposes Moore's law over the cost of genetic sequencing, and it's a very clear and distinguishable drop. Genetic sequencing is getting cheaper and cheaper, right? And as that happens, the data which we're going to get is going to get more and more. How do we analyze all that data efficiently and effectively is up to us, right? The future bioinformaticians within the world. It's very sweet. Anyway, so there's a greater need for us and more data, right? This is a burgeoning field that is still on the cusp of kind of exploding, right? We're right now operating at the frontier. Everything that we do right now and what we study right now is going to have massive repercussions 10, 20 years down the road when bioinformatics is ubiquitous throughout society, right? It'll cost in the future, hopefully what it'll be is you go to the doctor, they immediately sequence your genome, they tell you immediately what type of medicine works best for the illness that you came here for, right? And they can also tell you all your precautions and risks for everything down the line, right? It's an explosive field that we're just right now scratching the surface of. So that's bioinformatics, right? But undergraduate bioinformaticians, right? So not only are we bioinformaticians, we're undergraduates who are studying this, new and emergent field. So this is rare, right? We are one of few undergraduate bioinformatics majors in the country, right? And what does this mean? We have no competition, right? There is nobody else, no other university which is putting and devoting lots of money and resources into training undergraduates to succeed at bioinformatics, right? And that's lovely. Because we're here, which means we can make the most out of UCSD's extraordinary generosity, right? I mean, you saw the platter we have, right? The point is that we have the capability and capacity to work and operate at the edge of this field and become not only the dominant players in it as it moves forward, but the decision makers and the policy makers who kind of guide the overall field and the overall direction of that field, right? And I mean, this is important. We're the only active collection of undergraduate bioinformaticians in the country. I tried looking for other Ubics or other versions of Ubics throughout the nation. I saw one page from Washington University, St. Louis that was at last active in 2011, right? So I think it's safe to say we're fairly, we have fairly no competition, right? So what else? University of California, San Diego. I touched on this earlier, right? We're one of the few universities which is devoting money and resources into this emergent field. But, I mean, let's dive deeper. What exactly are we doing, right? The first is the fact that we have recruited the best faculty in the nation. for those of you who were at the CS orientation, I included this graph, and I kind of mentioned it. And I also talked about it when tabling. But if you look at the cost of genetic sequencing, around the year 2003, 2004, there's a significant drop, right? And that's not because of we discovered some new crazy enzyme or some new protein activity or whatever. It's because a former Soviet-era mathematician came to the US and was like, oh shit, we can apply this one crazy algorithm. Like, he just knew this. Like, the English people were like, oh shit, like, this is wild. And he was like, yeah, I know. We can apply this one simple algorithm and make genetic sequencing this much cheaper, right? That was an algorithmic decision. And guess where he is right now? He's in the CSU building right across there on the 4th floor. He's a very mean Russian guy, so. I mean, he is very smart and, like, awesome. But don't roll up to him and be like, oh, no. Okay. Anyway, so that's my point. We have the best faculty in the nation. And it holds true across the board. If you look at the bioinformaticians who are working here, they're all operating at the very edge of the field. They've all are multiple awards winners. If you look at their CV, it's like pages and pages and pages, like crazy shit. And you're like, God damn. And the second thing is that our graduate program is among the top ranked within the country. Indeed, it is one of the few kind of graduate programs in bioinformatics within the country. So we're operating at the very best, right? UCSD has done a fantastic job of kind of recruiting active bioinformaticians and making them, making us the very best we can, right? So, last thing is San Diego. Oh, sorry, second last thing. San Diego. So, the city we are in happens to be surrounded by some of the best biotechnology companies in the country, period, right? We have Illumina on our back door, which we're actually doing a collaboration with. I see you with an Illumina shirt. Right? So my point is that it is supremely easy for us to develop these interactions and kind of connections with companies, and then have those be tangible and yield interesting, beneficial kind of circumstances for our members and for anybody who's involved in our organization, and bioinformaticians in general. Right? We're actually doing a project with Illumina, which we'll talk about later. I hope y'all can be part of this. Really cool. The next thing is San Diego. I mean, we have so much funding from the NIH, right? And our governor and our mayor has done a fantastic job of making sure that California, and specifically San Diego, remains extremely competitive in this field. The last thing which I want to talk about is we're a community, right? We're a family. And I know this is kind of cheesy, but I think a community is what kind of defines, what was the defining moment from our emergence and evolution from cavemen to the humans that we kind of are today, right? It was the collective working together and understanding that if we all work together, we can not only benefit ourselves, but everybody around us, right? And because of that, because of the people in the room, and the fact that we're all motivated bioinformaticians who want to kind of do the best that we possibly can, that's what's going to make us succeed, right? We're a team. We have the potential to coalesce and consolidate all the bioinformaticians from around campus under one banner and have them work to a singular goal of being the best bioinformaticians they can be, helping UCSD maintain and kind of retain their status as one of the best bioinformatics schools in the country, and making Ubic, by extension, one of the best clubs, period. Alright, so my point is this. This was kind of my driving point behind everything. Every possible factor. We could not have asked for a better situation to be in than the one we are in right now. Right? We are operating at a unique nexus in both space and time that gives us the best possible cards in order for us to win the game of life. But I mean, that's just me. Alright, so here's our plan for the year. Fall quarter, I want to grow membership and outreach to all people interested in learning about bioinformatics. Right? Many of you express interest in me to say, I'm like an aerospace engineer, or I'm a biology major. I'm not sure if bioinformatics is right for me. Right? My goal for fall quarter is to kind of tell you that one, yes it is, and two, that you should switch and join Ubic and just be a part of our family. But I mean, that's me. Right? And everybody's interested in it. The second thing I want to do is establish contacts and recognition within academic circles and professional environments. I've talked about UCSD being one of the best universities, period, for bioinformatics, right? But it's not just that. We also have to not only be the best, we have to be the most well-spoken. We have to be able to go into a room and people say, oh shit, UCSD bioinformatics just walked into the room. Already back the fund up, right? And I want to lay the framework for organized expansion, right? Ubic has consistently grown these past couple of years. If you came into our GBM 3 years ago, it was terrible, right? We had half the attendance. Nobody really came. There was no real structure behind it. Then last year, our former president, Mars Wang, my successor, is here with us. And he did a great job, right? We were able to expand, and a lot of the people who are here right now were actually in the club last year, But this year, I want to really push the boundaries of how far we can go, right? And kind of make this expansion unique and kind of iterative part of Ubic. So winter quarter, develop and retain members, and aggressively expand outreach operations. Once we have the framework down, then we can kind of keep moving forward and keep pushing what we're capable of. In the spring quarter, kind of same idea, right? Except this time, develop, retain, and learn, right? Learn from our past year, reflect, and then use that knowledge to better serve ourselves in the next year. So the reason I have this up here is for pure transparency. I want you all to understand and know that this is kind of my goal, right? And you are all welcome to be part of it. And I think that together we can really make something fantastic happen, and even shatter, some of my goals. So, without further ado, I'm going to start bringing up my board members. They're all fantastic people, and I love them so much. And honestly, if you had known before what was happening, like 2 hours before this presentation started, the projector behind you, the bulb broke. And I was like, oh shit, I'm in a meeting. This sucks. So like in 2 hours our GPM is happening. This is where we like get all the members. We're fucked. But all my board members, came together downstairs and really made it possible. But before, what we're going to do is we're going to actually write on the board, on the whiteboard, kind of the presentation, and just go like step by step and just hammer it out. I'm glad we didn't have to do that, but it would have been fun. But my point is that these are a fantastic group of individuals, and if you need them for anything or everything, they're there for you. So sweet. Okay, so first I want to welcome Jigar Patel, our VP of Internal Affairs. Thank you so much.
Hi. Thank you, Arya. So my name is Jigar Patel. I'm a 4th year. I'm majoring in bio department in bioinformatics. So I'll be serving as the VP internal for this year. So basically my role is like work closely with the president and the officers. And to make sure all the events that we do, it runs smoothly as possible, and you guys get the most out of it. Talk to me about anything from switching from undeclared. That's backstory. Thank you, Maria. So I actually was an undeclared major. I did not know what I was doing until like end of freshman year, when my RA actually told me like, oh, you should look into something called bioinformatics. I was like, what is that? So I looked it up, and I found that it was something like a combination of bioinformatics and biology put together. That was perfect. So I actually went to Ubic events like these on my sophomore year, but there was not much structure to it. So I didn't meet anyone in bioinformatics, although I was taking CS courses. It wasn't until like last year when I got really involved, and I met like some of my closest friends in Ubic. So check if you're in Declare, definitely come talk to me. I'll tell you like what paths I took to be here. With that, without further ado, we have Lucas Tell.
Hiya, my name's Lucas, and I'm a 3rd year biology bioinformatics major. And so my role as UB External is I also work closely with the president, and Jigar, and the other officers to make sure that UBIC expands, beyond what we like to keep here on campus. So I try to work to establish projects and connections with external organizations outside of the school, or sometimes, outside of the state. Who knows how far UBIC is going to reach. So stuff you can talk to me about is our collaboration with ART, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency technology that I'm going to talk to you about in a bit. And I'm also currently working on website development. We just started from scratch. It went live like last week. And over time, we'd like to fill out that website with resources for our community, including workshop archives and like lab information and opportunities, and just like the one-stop shop for everything you need to know to get information about bioinformatics without having to track us down and ask us. Although that's always welcome as well. So besides that, I'd really like to expand Ubic into being a hands-on experience this year in establishing projects for our members. So I think a lot of what happens in bioinformatics at UCSD is that we go through our courses, but we end up in our 3rd and 4th years still not really having a tangible idea about how to apply the skills we learn in the classroom. So over the course of the year, my goal is to change that, and all of you have a firm understanding about different ways that we can apply our knowledge of biology and computer science to the real world. All right, so ART. some of you may have heard about this during our introductions at the orientations, or maybe in some of your classrooms or whatnot. But basically, ARC is a cryptocurrency technology like Bitcoin. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Bitcoin, and maybe it sounds like spooky to you. And in some ways it is spooky, but what's really important is that Bitcoin is actually basically just a very large-scale hashing algorithm, like the things you learned in CSC 12 or CSC 100. And the way that Bitcoin works is it allows people to maintain different sets of immutable and decentralized data. So what this means is that one person who has some data, nobody else can have that data because of the way that the algorithm works. So this has large-scale implications besides just Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin uses it as a currency for trading between one person and another, like different monetary, like you know that they're all about like trying to beat the banks and whatnot. We're not about the whole anarchist ideology. We're trying to, what we'd like to do is apply this technology to actually helping the world and changing the way that genomics works on a technological level. So some ideas of applying this blockchain technology to genomics is maybe like a way of transferring genomic information from one individual to another. Like Arya mentioned, if the future is personalized medicine where you can just go into your doctor's office and have your DNA sequence and all this information can be known about you, we can even speed that up by having your DNA sequence beforehand and just sent from doctor to doctor to facility. But in order to do that, we need a secure way to make sure that your genomic information is transferred from one facility to another. And that currently doesn't exist just because sequencing technology and peer-to-peer exchange technology is so brand new. So hopefully, we can create a solution that allows us to transfer the most relevant parts of our genomic information from one facility to another in a secure and fast way through peer-to-peer transfer technology, like the ones that ARC is on the forefront of developing. If you guys have ideas, feel free to email me or come talk to me. Or if you're just interested about the ways that we're going to tackle this problem, I'm always here to talk about that. Alright. Brittany?
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Alright, this is Brittany.
Oh, it is. Oh, awesome. Hi guys. I just ran here from my class, so I apologize for the middle of the hired you. So my name is Pridden. I'm a third year bioengineering bioinformatics major with a minor in cognitive science. I am your academic relations chair for this year. I oversee talking to the different departments and handling different administrative affairs, sending email blasts, like that kind of stuff, and also setting up the speaker events, one of which will be on Monday next week. Bioinformatics department. That's probably the more important thing that I'm working on right now. So this year, or at least last year, Dr. Terry Gassman, after our Ubic symposium, decided to propose a bioinformatics department such that we're not all spread out between 3 different departments. I decided to take on that challenge, and so this year I've been working with Arya in making that happen. So if you want to find out more, come talk to me. If you want any info on getting a lab position or getting contacts with professors, because I've got a fair amount of those, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys later sometime at a different event.
There's one more slide.
Oh, there's one more slide. Sorry. Yes. So on Monday, we're going to have a speaker event. That's going to feature Dr. Hannah Carter, who's over there, and her grad student, Rachel Marty. I believe Dr. Carter got an award for promising innovator, investigator, something like that. But she's up and coming, and she's pretty cool. She spoke at our Ubic symposium last year as well. And her grad student, Rachel Marty, did an NSF fellowship, which is a pretty prestigious fellowship for grad students, last year in Switzerland. So now she's back, and she and Dr. Carter are going to be talking to you guys about bioinformatics, introducing you guys to it, and also some of their research. That'll be from 5:30 in Bear Room in PC, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. This is sort of on the spot, so thank you.
Hi, my name is Miko, and it's my first time using it. So I'm an industry relations chair, and I'm a third year. Sorry, majoring in biology, bioinformatics, and minor in business. So in my free time, I love dancing. I'm also in Chinese Dance Association. If you're ever interested in dancing, come talk to me. So right now I work as an intern at Center for Computational Biology and Bioinformatics, and I do next generation sequencing pipelines. So my role in Ubic is to bring industry and Ubic members together through our joint programs, ventures and opportunities, including our coming workshop during week 5. So there will be a resume workshop. I'll talk about it later. So you can get your resume critique, and you can bring resume here. We can give you, help you polish your resume, and it'll be a great start for. It'll be a great first step to your internship or lab opportunities. So you can ask me about finding lab or internship opportunities, as well as industry affairs. So later on, we will be contacting alumni and also industry to get internship opportunities for you guys. So our resume workshop / academic advising is coming up in November, on November 3rd, in this building. And so you can, so if you're first year and you don't have a resume already, it's fine. You can bring a piece of paper, whether it's, even if you haven't finished it, it's all right. And we'll help you, give you an idea of how to structure a resume and how to make it more appealing. So if you are like this, when you look at your resume, after the workshop, you'll be like that. Okay, so hope to see you there. And there will be more events coming up, which will be introduced by.
So Samar isn't here because he had a wedding to go to, but he's really cool. Third-year transfer, biology, bioinformatics. All you transfer students out there, you can talk to him if you have any questions or concerns about being a transfer student, coming into the major, not really sure what to expect. So his role is to make sure, as technical development chair, to make sure that every member who goes through our organization gains the skills and all the technological expertise necessary to become successful bioinformaticians once they graduate, right? So what he's going to be doing is hosting a series of technical workshops, which I'll talk about after this. And you can talk to him about any of this stuff, right? Current bioinformatics topics. Say you got into a lab, or you're interviewing a professor, but you don't really understand their papers, you could go to somewhere and be like, hey, can you read this paper with me? Help me understand what's going on, right? So here are the workshops. The goal is basically to introduce students. So if you're a freshman, have no understanding of computer science, or Bash, or Python, or even what those mean, you can roll through these workshops, and we're going to give you familiarity with the tools necessary to be a successful bioinformatician, right? So the structure of these are going to be 3 per quarter. We're going to have 1 hour of tutoring on the remaining weeks, right? So it'll be effectively office hours. You can come in, talk to him about whatever is on your mind. There'll be step-by-step guides and do-it-yourself sections, right? So the guides are going to be going through collectively during the workshops, and the do-it-yourself sections will be like take-home assignments. We've already set up our own piazza, so if you're familiar with that, because you've taken like a CS course or whatever, you can use that to talk to all of us and ask us any questions or concerns you might have. And Bash and Python will be the main languages used and taught, just because those are the main languages that bioinformaticians kind of use in the present day society. So next up, we have Lowen, our treasurer. Where is he? There he is, all the way in the back. Come back here, Lowen. Get over here. Give him a big round of applause. Lowen,
Hello, so my name is Lowen. I'm a 5th year majoring in CS bioinformatics. Yay. And I noticed there are not that many CS people around here, so if you're CS and have any questions, come talk to me. My role here is basically managing the money for Ubic, and also like anything that has to do with budgets, like fundraising. Also, you can also come talk to me if you want to join the Treasury Committee, which I'll probably need someone to kind of like help along with me. Also anything about fundraisers, or if you have like any personal budget issues, then lower your debt. So other than that, yes.
Sweet. So I'm Alex, that's
Yo.
Alexander, but yay! Hey, okay. This is Kalyani, so I'm third year. And
I'm Kalyani, Alex. I'm a second year biology bioinformatics major.
yeah, and I'm bioengineering, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we're the social cheers. We're here to make sure you guys have a good time. We're here to build a sense of community in Ubic so that you guys all want to hang out with each other and all help each other out. So we will have lots of fun social events coming up, planning stuff that we will show you in a second. If you guys have anything you guys want to see and socially wise, go talk to us. If you think our social events suck, tell us, and then tell us what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what you want. Anyway, we're great people. And we're also in charge of the mentor-mentee program and the nucleotide houses, which will be explained later.
Okay, so these are a couple of our upcoming events. So next week we have our first mentor-mentee social interaction kind of thing. Just a kind of disclaimer, you don't have to want to join the mentor-mentee program to come out to these events. We encourage everyone in this club to come out because we're fun people. And but if you do want to join the mentor-mentee program, it's highly recommended that you do come out to these because you get to meet, the officers and the potential mentors and, find out who you want as your mentor. And our first one will be next week on Wednesday from 6 to 9 in PC, third grade Marshall room. It's all there. It's on the little business card as well. And then the second one is week 3. Yes, week 3. It's an ice cream social. It's on Thursday of week 3 in PC again. And then our mentor-mentee reveal will be on October 22nd, so I think that's the end of week 4. And that's when you find out who your mentor is. It'll be a big thing. It'll be really extra, so definitely come out.
Yes. And we're also looking for mentors. So if you're like, oh, I don't need to be mentored by anybody, well, you can find your very own little freshman, and you can show them the ropes of bioinformatics through these great social events. Are you gonna hang out with me? I'm like the loudest person you've ever met, and I do stupid stuff all the time. All you have to do is feed me sugar. It's great. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce Mars, our previous president, and the great founder of the Mentor-Mentee program.
Hi everyone, my name is Mars and I'm here today to talk about the Ubic mentorship program. I often like to compare each of our college experience to a maze. We all start our first quarter at the entrance and we make our way to the exit upon graduation. Now during this process, while we're navigating through this maze, we often find ourselves stuck at a crossroad, having to make very, very tough decisions about where to head to next. And these questions such as what classes I should take this year, whether I should aim for a 4.0 or have a social life, or join this amazing and wonderful club called Ubic. Well, the last one's not really a hard decision. Well, anyways, each of these decisions will ultimately take you on the path that leads you to a myriad of possibilities. And together, all these decisions that you made, all these choices, all this path, form into a route that really narrates your unique and personal college experience. Now, however, some of these routes are more efficient than the other for you to reach to your final destination. Some are more tedious and challenging, while others might even take you to a dead end, which makes it all the more daunting for you to make those decisions. Now, imagine if you have a tour guide, someone who's been navigating through this maze long before you did, who can really nudge you in the right direction when you find yourself at these crossroads, or help you avoid mistakes that they have made before, or even suggest an efficient path that they have discovered. And this type of tour guide really personifies what an ideal mentorship should be like for a college student. And here at Ubic, our mentors not only serve as tour guides for your college experience, we also follow a very specific recipe to success to help you achieve your goals. So once you're paired with your mentor, you guys will spend time together to come and develop a vision, which is an imagined perfect scenario based on your motivation. So what does that even mean? Imagine if you're Michael Phelps. You all know who Michael Phelps is, right? All right. Now imagine if you're Michael Phelps competing in the Olympics. Your vision would be standing on that podium, holding that gold medal, while listening to your national anthem playing in front of hundreds and thousands of fans, and bring you a purpose for you to work harder towards your goals. And right after you created this vision, your mentors will also help you create a few goals. And together, all these goals chain together and form into a pathway to success for this grand vision of yours. And more importantly, all these goals are SMART, meaning that they're specific, measurable, achievable, result-oriented, and time-bounded. And because these goals are SMART, your mentors are able to break each goal down to tangible weekly objectives and keep track of your progress. So it's kind of like playing a game where you have a list of tasks that you have to do every week. And at the end of the week, you get to check in with your mentors about your progress. And if you finish all of those objectives, you'll make your mentors really proud and happy. And if you're facing challenges and difficulties, your mentors will be there to really support you and provide you guidance, or even make modifications to those goals to make sure they stay achievable. And through this system, we have helped almost all of our mentees last quarter find a summer internship or a research position. Most of them improve academically or learn a new skill, and some of them are even ready to be mentors themselves this year. Which is why I really strongly recommend all of you, especially those freshmen and sophomores here, to really take advantage of this program and let those upperclassmen to use their knowledge and wisdom to lead you onto the college experience that you're looking for. Thank you.
And now we have the nucleotide houses. So you may be asking what that is. It's basically like Harry Potter, except because Harry Potter has weird ravens and Gryffindors and nobody knows what that is. We break it down to something more understandable, which is the 4 nucleotide bases: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thiamine. Anyway, so this is for the mentor-mentee program, and this is to build a stronger community among us, because what's better building a community than having each other compete to show that you're better than the other 3 houses, because guanine is the best. Yeah. So anyway, so it's there to build a friendly competition between houses. There will also be, family. Yes, there will be mentor-mentee / family, socials to, really build a tighter knit community among us. There will be plenty of socials for people who are like, I just want to, come and hang out with Ubic for a while. But this is really meant to bring us closer together and, build a strong community. And of course, we will be competing for points. Does this actually work? No? Okay. We will be competing for points. And at the end of the quarter, whoever has the most points wins. And actually, maybe at the end of the year. And there will be something special for, yes. There will be something. So how do you get points? Well, they'll be more important once you actually, have your mentor and mentee week 4 and blah, 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 blah. But points are in general gained by attending, spending time with your mentee, and winning events. Yes?
When will we find out which house we're in?
Oh, well, that, sir, is on the previous slide, sir, at the mentor-mentee reveal, which will be the Friday of week 4, and you guys will all be revealed, and we're going to have lots of fun as well while doing it, and we will have competitions, so if you don't show up, that's super bad because, well, first, you don't know who your mentor or mentee is, and second of all, your team just lost. It just is. So anyway, so that is our house goals, and mentor-mentees up. And now we have Neha. Woo!
Hey guys, my name is Neha. I'm a second-year bioengineering bioinformatics major. I'm the secretary. So my role is essentially like documenting how the club is going and getting involved or seeing member involvement. And I also send out weekly newsletters, which you all should look at and not ignore, because it has very important information on it, like the club's events for that week, and also any possible internship opportunities. If we find one, we'll tell you about it. So yeah, you guys can talk to me about the newsletters and the opportunities that we have. That's it.
Hi everybody, my name is Kevin. I'm a third year biology bioinformatics major. This year I am the community service outreach coordinator. So basically what I do is I reach out to local high schools, local clubs, even professors, and we organize community service events because I believe that it's important as professionals and also as students to give back to the community once in a while. So we actually have 2 events coming up. So one is coming up week 7, which is a beach cleanup where we'll be teaming up with CSES, which is a computer science club, and we're going to be picking up trash at La Jolla Shores, most likely. There will be more details posted soon, so please check the newsletters and check Facebook. And then also, for next quarter, we've been working on a program with Illumina, which is kind of a game to teach high school students more about bioinformatics, programming, what is DNA, all that fun stuff. So we're currently working with Illumina right now, and we actually need a committee of people. So if you're interested in joining our committee to help plan service events and as well as work on the Illumina game and program, then please talk to me after the meeting. We'll also be sending out a form later on in a week or 2. So yeah, feel free to ask me anything after the meeting. Cool, thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is G. Fun fact about me, I use my name as a litmus test for any Harry Potter fans.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'll make this super quick. I know you all want to get out of here. We do have a social at TAPEX afterwards if you want to join us. So we'll all just slowly migrate over. So stay for that. I'm a second year biology bioinformatics major. I'm in Revelle College, so if you want to complain to me about all the terrible GEs, I've heard it many times. So what I do, I'm the publicity chair, so I do flyer design, and I'm also handling the social media on Facebook. So if you have any questions or you just want to talk or anything, feel free to message us on Facebook or email us. So a couple things if you want to get plugged into our community. A couple things, if you're new here, first of all, welcome. We're very excited to have you. And second of all, if you haven't done so yet, go to our Facebook page, Undergraduate Bioinformatics Club, Ubic at UCSD. You'll find that on Facebook. You organize us by the logo. And second of all, if you want to be you can join our group right here at Ubic at UCSD. It's our 2017 to 2018 post group. You just send us a request and we'll approve you. And third of all, you can sign up for our newsletter, which I believe most of you have already done, so don't worry about that. And lastly, you can check out our website. It's still under construction by our lovely VP External, ubic.org, and we'll have everything also posted on there. So that's about it. If you guys have any, I love reading about weird research experiments that people have done, like borderline controversial. I know it's really weird, but if you have anything that you're interested in, something crazy, some proposal that you want to try out, come talk to me. I love to hear about these things. And also, if you're interested in I'm a really big foodie and I love music, so if you guys want any recommendations to any of the San Diego areas to eat or just like live music events, concerts, I'm also very cool with that. So that's about it. Join us for our social at TAPEX, and that's about it. Thank you for coming.
Before we all start heading out, I want to talk to you about this position. If you're a freshman who's in this room right now, you're nodding your head and you're like, oh hell yeah, this club seems awesome, these people seem awesome, I want to be a part of it. We actually have an opening on our board. So there's one seat in the board, kind of member roundtable, which you are welcome to apply for. Basically, the goal of the Freshman Ambassador will have, 2 main things. The first is to plan the annual Bioinformatics Symposium this spring. We actually have some of our current board members who planned it last year. Did you all stand up? It was Kevin, Miko, Kalyani. Yeah. If you have any questions about it, you can ask it. But it's a really fun event. It'll be in spring, so you've got lots of time to prepare and think about it. And the second thing is to kind of serve as a liaison between the Ubic board and the freshmen. Some of the best ideas come from people who are fresh to the department, fresh to the kind of major, want to learn more about it, stuff like that. So our Google form is here. We're going to all send out an email, so don't worry, you don't have to memorize the URL. But it's open right now. So if you're wanting and if you're motivated to be a part of this club and really put the time and energy in, you can gain a leadership role right off the bat, freshman year, which is pretty fucking cool. So these are some images from last year's symposium. It was really fun. That's the Russian guy. I'll stop. He's really cool. He's actually fantastic. And that's Nima. You're going to see him at a lot of events. He is a graduate student right now. He's the one who brought me to UCSD. He convinced me. It's pretty cool. So, schedule for the rest of the quarter. Weeks 1 through 5 are set. If you have a business card, you have all the information on there. Time, date, location, where it is. Week 6 through 10, still under construction. Not sure about the exact dates, but you can kind of get a feel for what we're doing this entire quarter. And thank you all for coming. I hope to see you all at the Topic Social afterwards. I know we already have so much food here, but if you want to get more food, you have the capability.
Boba.
Yes, boba. It's different. It's not really food. Anyway, that's about it. Thank you all for coming. If you haven't yet done so, we have a computer in the back where you can sign in if you haven't done that, and grab a card which has all our calendar. Weeks 1 through 5 events. I see you. He's got a card. All right, hell yeah.